Hi, I'm Neil the saskryker. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. I've been out having some holidays out onto the West Coast. Plus, I haven't been doing a lot of riding lately, but I thought what I would do is kind of update you on some products that were added to the bike and how they've been performing or not performing. So let's get into it. First of all, the one thing that I really like up here is the Ryker Form phone mount. I did have a quad lock, and as you may have seen in a previous video, the actual screw that holds the unit in right on the handlebar let loose. So, and it's a good thing it happened just before I was ready to go on a ride. I took it off and just hid the phone somewhere else. But for up here, because I use it for navigation, I also have my music on there so I can easily access it. I went back to the Ryker Form, got myself a case for my iPhone 13 Pro Max, and that's the part of this system. There are two parts. There's the Ryker Form actual mount itself, which is very sturdy. There's a magnet right in here, and this is the locking part, which is similar to quad locks, only what locks it into place is the magnet, because there's a magnet now on the back of the case. So these are two specific units. You buy the actual mount first, which has the adapter pieces for the diameter of your handlebar, and then you buy the actual case. Now, a lot of folks will just put their phone in this case and use it all day long. I find the case just a little bit more bulky and rugged, which it should be, in case it does fall off the car or any vehicle that you've got it on, because it's designed for many, many applications. It's designed to protect your phone. So I find it a little bulky, so I just put the phone in when I'm using it. And how it works, similar to quad lock, is you put it in on a bit of an angle, click it in there, and it's not going anywhere. You can shake the bejesus out of this thing and it's not going anywhere. So again, a big fan of Ryker Form. I know there's all kinds of fans of the quad lock, but for me, quad lock just kind of made me a little nervous. So I went back to Ryker Form, what I originally had back on my other motorcycle. The other thing that I really, really like, and it's been a comfort thing for me ever since I got the Ryker, even though you can move the handlebars forward and backwards, for me, I found even at the most rearward position for these handlebars that I was still leaning a bit forward. And on my rides, I would notice that I was either having shoulder or back issues. So what I did was I went and got the Rox Risers specifically for the Ryker. Don't get the universal mount ones because they will not work on this handlebar setup. If you're going to go to the Rox Riser website, which is where I purchased these, get the ones that are specific to the Ryker. And what I've done is put them a bit of an angle, and you'll get a 2-inch difference, whether it's upside, angled, or straight back. Now, you can't really do it straight back because of the fact that then you won't be able to access your gas tank. So I've got it on enough of an angle towards me where instead of my arms being straight out, there's a little bit of a bend and it's a little more of a relaxed riding position because I do a lot of longer rides. So the Rox Risers on this angle still gives me access into the fuel door to be able to gas the Ryker up. I also have my Ram ball mount for the GoPro that we're using right now for shooting through my F4 Customs windshield. Now I'm going to show you a couple of things that didn't work out, or things that you'll probably won't see. And I'm going to start off with the Treadwear lettering on the Ryker, and I'm going to show you basically what has happened there. So as you probably have noticed, there is no more lettering down there. I actually took it off. And the reason for that is, and I wasn't sure about this product when I got it, I'm sure in the US it's a great product, but for Canadian residents where we have extreme weather, hot, cold, while I was on holidays, we had horrific heat. So when I got back, uncovered the bike, kind of gave it a little bit of a clean before I went on the ride, noticed that some of the letters were curling. So for Treadwear, what they do is they use a rubber backing, and I'm not sure what the colored material is that when you specify the color you want, and I went with green, it's another type of material. So as that product cures and ages, it starts to curl because you've got two layers. So it started curling out like this, if this side is where the tire is, because the rubber is getting pulled off by this other material that's drying and basically pulling it away from the tire. To the point where my Y on the Ryker was almost straight out, and a couple of other letters were really peeling off, and I went, oh no. So I went and tacked them back on, but started noticing a lot of the letters were starting to peel away from the tire, and I thought at that point, I'm just going to be doing too much doctoring to get it. Did I not put enough glue on? No, I put exactly what the manufacturer told me to put on. So unfortunately, I just decided, you know what, it's more of a dress-up item. It doesn't really perform much of a function. So I went and I took all the lettering off the tires. The other thing that I got that I tried to put on that didn't work for me was some Ryker chaser lights. And these are sold all over the place. I know there's a couple of folks that have them. You can find them on Amazon. But it was obvious that this was designed for a four-wheeled vehicle and not a three-wheeler, because there were two sets of lights that they really didn't match up well on the A-frame, the back of the bike, or even under around the engine, because the LED lights themselves weren't the right size for any of this. And there is only one swing arm at the back here, and the only place to mount it is under this drive shaft area. So, and it looks like the connector that goes in right under here on your accessory pin looked like it was kind of an afterthought. So I'm assuming whoever I bought these from bought the stuff in bulk, then went ahead and rewired it for the Ryker specifically. But the actual rewiring didn't look all that good. So again, I don't want to start playing around with the electrics on this, because I know folks in the US have had a lot of problems either draining their battery or all kinds of issues with fault codes popping up, which I have absolutely no problem with this Ryker. I haven't had a fault code show up. I haven't had any kind of issue. This bike has treated me very well for being a 2019 900 Ace. It's been an awesome bike, even for all the things that I put on it. So yeah, that's another what I would call a little bit of a disappointment. But again, live and learn. Whether it's going to work for you or not, totally different. I invested my money into it to see if it was going to work, and it didn't. So all I can give you is my perspective and my experience with the product that I tried. So again, a lot of things that are on this bike have lasted. The one that a lot of people complained about that I have found just an awesome piece of kit is this tank bag from Can-Am. Everybody was complaining about this plastic breaking. It didn't hold a phone right and all that. Well, my phone sits up here. This holds my in-ear phones and a couple of Bluetooth receivers, and then underneath my gloves. If you treat your products right, they should last. I don't know what people were doing to have this plastic all haze up on them and crack, but that has not been my experience with this, and this has been a phenomenal product. The other thing that I would suggest for you to do, if you're going to be using your mirrors, and you should, is get the convex ones that go over top, and that's what I'm running. I don't know if you can even see that these are aftermarket ones that just glue over 3M taped over the original, so that it looks like original equipment, but where I'm sitting, I can see here almost right back to behind where the camera is. It gives you that almost 180-degree view, and that's for either side. So whether you're looking to make lane changes or seeing people come up beside you or behind you, you're going to get a full view. And again, I do a lot of highway riding, so a windshield for me was very important. This is the 16-inch F4 Customs windshield out of Florida. They do make a 12-inch one, but again, for me in Saskatchewan, we get a lot of bugs. So I'm not the type that's the happy biker with bugs in my teeth. I'll let the windshield do all of that. It's got a proprietary coating, so I just use any type of window cleaner, whether it's Windex or whatever it is, and it will not harm it. I know a lot of these windshields require a certain cleaner because it's either a certain product that requires it, but this, a regular window cleaner, works just fine. The other thing that I got from Can-Am is the Lynx bag on the back here. And a lot of people, again, were complaining about the size of the opening, and it was small, and it does everything I need it to do. So the other thing that I've got that's on the other side is the Shad Bag. And this bag holds my helmet, my gloves, and a lot of other stuff that when I go on a longer ride, if the weather doesn't look like it's going to be half decent, I either put rain pants and other rain gear up here, or I'll stop and put them in here. So pretty much everything that I have has a function and a form to it. There's a couple of dress-up items like the canard covers on the wheels, BKD designs on the shifter. Yeah, I've got a couple of other items there. My logo that I got from Ironside Customs. Lori does a fantastic job, so if you want to replace the BRP logos front and back, give Lori at Ironside Customs. She's on all the social channels. Does a great job, by the way. Just send her a JPEG of what you want. She'll send you a proof back, and you'll get it in no time flat. So I've been really happy with Brandon King and Lori at Ironside Customs. They have been phenomenal people within the community to deal with, and I recommend them highly because they're both really quality people and they're serving the community very well. The other thing that I'm sitting on that is really good is my AirHawk. And this is a seat pad because, again, the standard seat is okay. But if, again, like me, I'm doing the longer rides, so I want something that's going to be comfortable. And it's certain air bladders all the way through, and it's very deceiving because there is a little mouthpiece. You fill it up, you get on the bike, and then you sit, and then what you do is there's a little valve right in here, and you slowly turn it, and what you do is you put your finger in between a couple of the bladders and slowly start letting the air come out. And when you feel your rear end touch your fingers, that's it. Close it up, get off the bike, and most people, when they feel it, they go, but there's no air in it. There's enough air just to keep the pressure points off your butt. And that's ultimately what you want, is no pressure points on your bum. If you're driving along like I do sometimes, 5-6 hour rides, and I'm only stopping for gas or whatever, if you're going to be in the saddle for a couple of hours, you want to make sure you're comfy. And that's exactly what the AirHawk does. I'm a big fan of this AirHawk seat. Again, another one of those comfort pieces along with the Rox Risers. The other thing that I got that I'm probably going to have to replace because I think I've worn them out is the foam grips on the handlebars. Because the handlebars are a little smaller for my big hands, I was feeling like I was over grabbing. They felt very small. The foam grips on here have also been making this work really well. The other thing is my throttle lock, my Atlas throttle lock. And I know there are some people that just really not fans of this, and there are other people that just love them. I'm on the latter category. I just love this thing because, again, I'm on longer rides. I've set it up so that when I hit my cruising speed, I hit it, but I still have my hand on it. It's just not, it's clamped on, and I'm holding it to maintain a certain speed. It just loosely sits on it, and if I notice it creeping up, I just kind of slightly roll it back. And yeah, you're constantly just kind of maintaining, because again, it's a throttle lock, it's not cruise control, which you can't get for this bike. Even with the 2022s, with the cruise control, they haven't back engineered it. I don't think the electronics or wiring is set up for the cruise control to happen. So if you buy a 2022 without the cruise control, you can get that as an add-on. I believe the 2019, 2020, and 2021 Rykers, the 600s and the 900s, you can't get that cruise control from Can-Am on here, just because I don't think they've got the electrics set up for it. So that's why I go with the Atlas throttle lock. And again, it's designed to just kind of hold it if you're on a level ground and you're doing 110 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. You hit the button, it holds that spot, but you still have flexibility. Like I'll lock it right here, but as you can see, I still have movement, and there's a release button. And that will allow you to adjust as you go, because if you've locked it at 60 and then you're going up a hill, it won't hold 60. It just is holding where you have it on that throttle. So you may have to give it a bit of gas. Same thing if you're going down a hill, the bike will start picking up speed, so you're going to have to roll the throttle off. And that's the nice thing about it. And even in the instructions, there is telling you that you do need a certain amount of place, so you can, if you have to, get off this throttle fast enough and you can't get to this button quick enough, that you can shut the throttle off very quickly if there's something that you're coming up on fairly quickly that you have to back that throttle off on. So again, those are just some of the updates on the products that I'm using. It's been a great summer here. We've had some phenomenal weather. I'm heading out again tomorrow on my own for about a 5 or 6 hour ride in Saskatchewan. It's beautiful day like today, hardly a cloud in the sky, sun is shining. I'm going to have my favorite tunes in my ears and just kind of letting all the cares and woes melt away and just watch the scenery through my windshield. So until next time, take care.